I'm going to now put the spotlight on Fireside, an early stage investor focused on consumer brands. It has announced the closure of its second fund. It's raised about $60 million. Talk to us more about this. I'm being joined by VS Kannan Sitaram, Venture Partner at Fireside Ventures. Thank you for joining us here on Startup Central. This is Nayantara Rai. Congratulations on the closure of the fund. $60 million. You want to give me a little idea of what you're going to do with this, what kind of companies you're looking at? I know it's going to be early stage, but any particular space you like at the moment?
So thank you, Nayantara. First, this is the first close of a fund, and we have commitments of $60 million. We expect to raise more money, actually. So by the time we do the final close, we should be upwards of $100 million. There is lots happening in the consumer space. We have seen over the last 30 months, something like 2,000 deals, actually. And we actually have done out of that just 19 deals. So there is a furious level of activity in the consumer space. Lots of interesting themes. Some of the themes that I wanted to pick out today is good for you food. You know, not just food that is low salt or low sugar, but food that is seriously good for you. We're also seeing a lot of action happening in created for you as a theme across personal care, across apparel, across footwear, across lots of product categories. Children is a great theme, actually. So yes, we're seeing lots and lots of different things happening in the consumer space.
The good for you, of course, is, I have to say, a term that I always associate with Indra Nui of PepsiCo. And I think a lot of the people now do that when it comes to healthy food. She certainly is the person responsible for that phrase. You know, just a few days ago, for example, I had Wingreens. They've just done a fundraise. They were back. They're talking about beverage category, natural substitute for sugar. Have you already found the companies that you want to invest in, or you're pitching and you're announcing to the viewers of Startup Central that then healthy food, they should contact you?
In fact, out of our fund one, we've invested in 2 companies which are in the good for you space. You might have heard of Yoga Bar, which has done amazingly well. They are into energy bars, they are into breakfast, muesli, and every single ingredient that goes into their products is chosen with care. They can honestly say that every single thing is good for your body. And we really, really like the way that they are scaling up. Another one that we have invested in more recently is Kapiva, which is into food, which is, again, seriously good for you, but coming out of Indian traditions. As you know, there are many, many Indian food traditions across the country. And in each food tradition, there are ingredients that we use which are good for you. Good for your digestion, good for building body immunity, good for managing blood sugar. And we are looking at how to bring all these traditional ingredients to life, made easy to consume for the consumer of today.
Okay, so now I want to ask you, you know, you've got a new fund, you're looking to deploy that capital, you like early stage companies and startups. So I'm going to ask this on behalf of all the founders, startups watching this interview. How should they pitch to you? How do you find startups? Is it primarily word of mouth? You know, how does it work for you?
For us, getting to meet, all the promoters that we have met over the last couple of years, yes, lots of people knock at our doors because they know that we are very focused. We only do consumer early stage brands. And that's really the definition of what we invest in. So lots of people just come to us because they know that that's what we do. But apart from that, we also, constantly analyze different parts of the consumer industry. And we look to see what's exciting, what are the interesting disruptions that are happening out there. And then we proactively reach out for them. Apart from that, we are very active with early stage incubators. We know angel networks who invest in the consumer side, and we are all talking to them to understand what they find interesting, and then we reach out to many of those companies ourselves.
So that's how you find them. Now I want to ask you that, again, I'm asking this on behalf of all the founders and startups. What is your do's and don'ts list for a founder or a startup?
Right. I think what we look for in early stage companies is obviously they should be solving a problem for a consumer, which is a large problem. So they should be able to spell out what the problem is and how large that problem potentially is. The second thing that we look for is that the solution that they are putting out there in the market is something different to what is already there in the market today. We're looking for differentiated solutions. Third, we're looking to see whether it is brandable because, in the consumer world, what creates value is not just products, but it's really the brand. If you look at any FMCG company today, look at the market capitalization versus book value, you find that the book value is actually a very insignificant part of the market capitalization. So we look at the ability to brand the solution that they are offering to the market. And finally, of course, we really, really look at seriously the founders themselves. And I'm glad to say that when I look at the people who are coming to us with proposals, we are finding today founders of a very, very high quality, highly qualified people, people who have worked in large corporates and then have decided to give up very comfortable jobs to start something because they felt the passion for doing that. And we'd like to see that passion because, no business plan goes exactly as per what you thought it was going to go by. And you need people who are passionate, who are willing to handle challenges as they come, who are willing to find workarounds when they find challenges. And that's something that we really think is very, very important for an early stage company.
You told me the do's. What about the don'ts? What would you never go near?
So we don't like solutions which are, commodity-like, which cannot be differentiated, which cannot be branded. Yeah. We do not like business propositions where people are trying to see how to get rich quick. We strongly believe that the way to create value is to build great businesses. So we look for people who are trying to build great businesses, not just quickly develop, metrics which look attractive for a potential investor.
Okay, that's your don't. So I'm going to put you in a spot and also ask you one question because it's good to know, we all learn from our mistakes. And I'm sure that's also the case for venture capitalists and investors like yourselves. What is the one deal that you didn't do and you regret today?
There are actually a few, not just the one deal. I won't name any names, but I think the reason why we did not invest in that particular deal was that we were not sure what the founder's real objective was. And we are quite willing to skip a deal rather than get into a deal when we are not very sure about motivations underlying why the founder is in that particular business.
Okay, so you're not naming. How politically correct? Usually, we don't see that so much in the startup universe. Now, before I let you go, you said you used the word disruption. Obviously, everybody wants to bet on the next unicorn. Everybody wants to bet on the next disruptor. Your previous bets have worked out well, like Yoga Bar you spoke about. You told me that you like children's business. You like these good for you foods, etc. Are you still looking at the same space, or are you expecting disruptions in some new space that's got you enthusiastic?
So if you look at our fund one, roughly half our investments have been in the FMCG area. When we look at what's happening today, we will continue to invest in FMCG. But my hunch is that in Fund 2, a lot of our investments will come from areas outside the FMCG area as well. We think, for example, when you look at the whole lifestyle area, there's going to be a lot of action happening out there. Whether it is, what people wear, or whether it is about where they spend their discretionary money. I think there is going to be a whole lot of stuff which is happening out there. I told you about children, and I think that's extremely important because we as a culture are very ambitious for our children. And that's true, I think, of a lot of Asian cultures, and we are not in many ways different to those. I find it even today astonishing when I think of some of the families that I see, how much they're willing to invest in building their children's future. Of course, good schooling, that we all know, but beyond schooling, and I think that's again an area where we're going to see lots of disruptions. The whole area of environment is something which is bothering all of us. You're in Delhi, you know all about the pollution, but polluted air, polluted water, polluted everything. And I think that's again something which is requiring solutions. So, a lot of the food businesses that we've seen are about organic, clean label, and so on. And I'm very confident that we're going to find solutions for many more of the issues that bother us in the environment that we live in.
Okay. With that, VS Kannan Sitaram here is wishing you all the very best. Those are some ideas on where we're likely to see the disruptors going forward. I totally second the idea as far as environment goes. I don't know why we're not seeing more innovation, or we just don't know much about that. So, yes, please do your bit so that we don't have to continue to live in a gas chamber. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us this evening right here on Startup Central.